Very rarely did we act as a company. Most everything was platoon or less. So we were mostly it was team, sometimes as a platoon. Very rarely was it a company, never as a battalion. Now, our whole battalion had about 120 shooters total. Our company was 60, 60 shooters total, broken up into 20 men per three platoons. Um, we rarely did anything that big because that's not how we ever operated. That's not our skill set. We are clandestine, swift, silent, deadly. We're driving around in 5-ton trucks with, 60 shooters and then all the accoutrements that go along with a company firm base, all the antenna. Like you're not clandestine at all. You are a giant, target. And so they had this great plan. We went out, we took over a mansion. When I say mansion, it's just a giant cement structure. There's no furniture, there's no windows. It's beautiful looking from the outside, but there's nothing inside. It's empty. They're all empty. But we took it over, and I can't for the life of me, even in my notes, I was like, I think it says we did nothing. I think we just ran some missions around that didn't really do anything. Like at this point, uh, they realized that engaging us directly was just not going to work. That's not how it was going to happen. So they didn't do anything, and we're like, oh, that So we spent like a week and a half out in this firm base. We did a bunch of patrols. We knock and talked. Hey, you see any bad guys? No, cool. All right, thanks. Here's some candy. Uh, and so nothing was happening. So we packed up, and it's time to leave. We have tons of vehicles we have to go with. So my platoon is given the honor of suicide truck. So our three Humvees, two turreted Humvees and an open back, are sent out 45 minutes, half an hour before the rest of the company. And we are there to find IEDs. We are there to find ambushes. We are the first to get hit. Because if we get hit, that means the company can come rescue us in theory. If it's not, we're all dead. But it's not the entire company sitting in a complex ambush where a whole lot more guys are die. Uh, I would say that's the running theme of my first deployment was our truck, my team was a suicide vehicle. So we were always the first vehicle in every movement we made. And we were always the platoon pick for it because we were good at it. And so my truck specifically was always ready to be the first one to ever get hit with an RPG. I had 5 to 8 pounds of plastic explosive in our bumper that I stored there because I was a breacher. So it's like, well, guys, if we get hit, we're getting hit bad. So um, so we didn't have the plastic explosive this time because we weren't breaching, so we put it in a different truck. So we're about to leave, and the medic, Marty, is like, "Hey, I need a driver." And so we got along famously. He was great. He was an amazing guy. And he's like, "I'll take Morton." So I get taken out of my first lead vehicle. I get put in this second vehicle. So now I'm driving the open back. Lange, driver, just in country as a replacement for the guys who had just died in the first ambush. So he jumps in. We start going. We have our um, we have our engineer in the front truck too. So we're driving, and the whole time we're just waiting to get hit, just waiting. Like we know it's coming. It's not a question of like if it's a matter of where, because there's only at this point two, maybe three roads possible to get from where we are to get back to Camp Fallujah. And they know this. It's their backyard, and you can't go off road because all the roads are about 5, 6 feet off the ground because of all the fields. So they want to keep them out of the water. So they're all raised up and they're only as wide as a Humvee. So they know where your tires are going to be too, because like you can't really maneuver. Like it was actually always a worry that you're going to go over. If the driver drove too close to the blind edge, that tire's going over and you're flipping that truck. You're killing the fucking turret. So like you had to ride as the driver on your edge to make sure your tires stayed on these roads. So they knew exactly like they so we were like it's going to be rigged. Like whatever road we choose. So we chose the main road, like the one straight down the middle. And we're like, hey, oddly enough, probably the best chance they, aren't expecting this, So we head down this village. It is the prime village of the Zaidon. It is, uh, in hindsight, it's absolutely beautiful. It looks like, I mean, an old village out of time. It's so beautiful. Like there's markets, like open air markets. There, butchers and ware sellers and everyone like fruit stands and like, I mean, it looks like Aladdin, only a slight bit updated because now the windows have bars on them. But I mean, it's almost like it's a picturesque village out of time. And we're driving down the middle of it, and we get through it, and we are elated because we are like they're going to because they're like we were waiting for blow up, machine gun fire. Like we're like, all right, cool, we made it. So we're about 200 feet past the village, and now we're into like the reeds and the dikes, and all of a sudden the front truck just jumps. IED hits it, goes right up through the cab. It jumps, it skews to the left, it skids a bit, and then just stops. Now I'm directly behind them, 50 feet, looking at my team who just got hit, and I should have been driving that truck. And, I put it in park, and then my team starts falling out of the truck in just like the driver couldn't even function. Scotty Boom, who that was his second IED, so we actually started calling him Scotty Boom Boom after. Like, so this is his second IED that almost killed him. If that shows you kind of what he went through, he falls out pretty much just as unconscious as you can be with still talking, like just out of it. A turret gunner gets up, walks down the back of the truck, and jumps down, and he has a bigger than my fist hole in his thigh. So everyone's kind of spilling out, and me and Marty are supposed to stay in our truck. That is what you're supposed to do. Don't get out. Like they're waiting for first responders. Then they're gonna hit the next IED, or they're gonna break you with machine gun fire and kill all of you. And then you realize, fuck that. Like, there's no way I'm gonna like let this happen. So me and Marty look at each other, nod, and we both get out and we both run up. Marty goes to Spears, starts giving him triage because he has a like what ended up he ended up losing his leg from this IED. Like when it scarred over, it just swallowed all his veins and arteries. So they just took it from above the knee. He had a above the knee amputation. But at the time we didn't, I mean, it was just a giant hole that wasn't bleeding yet. So Marty's helping him. I see the driver and I see my ATL. So I run around to the side, and our my team leader hasn't come out of the vehicle yet. Still in so I open up the door and he like falls out. Boom. This is all pitch black. We have like red light headlights on, so your night eyes kind of stay if you and there's just blood everywhere. Just fucking everywhere. And I look back to look at the seat that he was sitting on, and it's gone. Like it has just torn through his seat. And so he's on the ground, and he just starts talking real calm. And he was the calmest guy in the world normally anyway. But he's just talking that, hey man, am I okay? It's like, yeah, yeah, you're fine. I don't know if he's fine. I see blood everywhere. There's little like it wasn't like one big hole. It was thousands of like little holes all on his back. So I was like, hey man, like, yeah, you're fine. I just gotta flip you over because I gotta find if you're bleeding like real bad from somewhere. Because like a bunch of little holes will actually, believe it or not, clot well on their own. It's that one big one that's gushing that you have to be worried about right then. So I take his flak up and I look and I don't see anything bleeding so badly that we have to like, like all of a sudden plug it. So I roll him back over, and he's like, "How bad is it?" And I was like, "Dude, you're fine." Like trying to be confident, trying to be like, like don't worry about it. And he gets so excited, and he like just like starts smiling, and he grabs me. He's like, "Dude, free college." And he passes out. I was like, "What?" So later on, when I finally saw him, I saw him one more time before I never saw him again. Because so I visited him in the hospital at Fallujah. He was explaining that in Ohio, a Purple Heart gets you free college for 4 years in a state college. So he could use his GI Bill for, I think he did skydiving with his GI Bill. He became like a skydiving instructor, but he got to go to state college in Ohio for free for 4 years. And it was the most, and but like literally dying, and that was his last thought before he passes out. I was like, great. So.
Yeah, kind of that million-dollar wound thing.
Yeah, like I also don't think he realized how bad it was at that time. Like, because again, you're in shock, and then it was so bad shock that he passed out, and then we had to pack him, had to pack spears in the back. We actually had to leave that truck because we didn't have enough guys anymore to like drive it or do anything. So we had to strip everything of serialized, which is a lot of stuff, every weapon, every bullet, everything off that truck, put it in the high back. So now we have two trucks, but we're like, hey, at least the cavalry's coming. We've called in that we got hit. At least the cavalry is. And just as we're like saying that, we get the call that company, the big convoy, they baited us. They hit them in the village. One truck went into the river. One truck was totally destroyed. I mean, they messed us up. It was a perfect ambush. They let us come out as bait. They hit us. So while me and Marty were not the first responders in their eyes to those guys, the cavalry, was the first responders to our IED, and they hit them worse. And so then we were just two Humvees driving with all these wounded in the night in the middle of Iraq, trying to get to back Camp Fallujah. And all I could could think of looking at Marty, I was like, we're gonna get hit again. He's like, yeah, most like this is gonna suck. And so we're just waiting for that next IED. And I remember the moment we get up on Maine, which is the big like interstate for them, that is always being patrolled for IEDs. It still happens, but it's much more the likelihood is much less because that's our main route. So they keep that EOD keeps that pretty clean. But when we get up there, like we were amazed. But we got back to base. I remember driving in, unloading everybody. So everybody in that first truck had to go basically to triage because they were hitting some way or they were so concussed that they couldn't do anything. So they're all in. And then Marty went with them, and then the platoon, our platoon's leader took some other guys to go do something else. And I remember just being alone in the team room after, like right after, and nobody else was coming. The company didn't get back for another 8 hours. Um, and I just sat in the team room, like not knowing if my friends were dead, not knowing like, and it was I think the hardest couple hours of my life. So I just started cleaning all my weapons and like just trying to put my life like I almost treated my weapons as my life. Like I just tried to scrub it. Like I mean, like bawling while I'm scrubbing my rifle parts and oiling them and like trying to put it back together perfect. So it would, it would keep working. And I remember that as being one of the most like I'd say poignant moments of my talk about that experience of just like rock bottom. And then I just wandered off and went to sleep. And it was just I didn't know anything, you know, waited for the rest of the guys to get back 8 hours later, you know. So it was weird. It was a weird experience to have all that happen and then suddenly be alone and not have anyone right after. And because company was gone, the whole barracks was empty. So it was just like me. It felt like it was the most solitude I think I've ever felt in my life.